Hello, my name's Mercedes Byrne Klug, and I'm with the University of Iowa School of Social Work and the Aging and Longevity Studies program. And I'm here right now with artist and educator Jo Myers Walker. And we're going to have a little conversation, Jo and I, as she continues painting from her apartment in Iowa City. Jo, tell me a little bit about your background.
I've been an artist and educator for probably 50 some years. I went to Iowa State. I got my master's degree in art education, and that that means you learn a little of this, a little of that. And so I've been a paper maker. I've been a watercolorist, acrylic painter. I did drawing. I worked with mixed media for years. I worked with, you'll see that on my website, plastics. I made these little plastic sitters. That was kind of fun. I taught at Iowa State from 2000 to 2004, and then I taught a lot of those things I was taught. What I made, I was in numerous through the Iowa Arts Council. I would go to the schools and teach paper making and plastic bending, would you believe? And I'd bring my little toaster oven and we'd put little mittens on these kids and they would bend their plastic and we'd put it all together in a public art installation. Anyway, I've also done 4 big public art installations. One's over in Cedar Rapids as you go across the 4th Street walking path there. There's 41 people walking across that path up there. I use Lexan. And then I've done big clay sculpture. And that's at St. Thomas Aquinas. It's 30 feet in the air and 15 feet wide. And it was truly a God thing because thank goodness I had construction workers helping me get it up and so on.
That big that you needed construction workers to help get it installed. Wow.
Yes, definitely.
Huge.
And the church gave me moved my my kiln had to be moved and rewired a house to get all this going. Anyway, it's I can't do that anymore because I'm in an apartment. So and of course, I'm in various galleries, and that's on my website, and all kinds of permanent collections.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen here and go to your website and ask you to kind of tell us a little bit about your story. We're going to separate our conversation into pre-pandemic and post-pandemic. So before the pandemic, I know you've been an active artist and an active educator for decades. You mentioned that. And in fact, I came to know you because my mother, when she was living in Ecumenical Towers in downtown Iowa City, and she enrolled in one of your art classes. And so in her 80s, she took her first watercolor class from
Yes.
Jo Myers Walker. So I've got your website up right now, and it's called the leftbankstudio.com. No, altogether, the leftbankstudio.com. And I'd like you just to talk a little bit about your life and how you've used art before the pandemic. So let's start with this tomato bisque soup club. What does that mean?
That's way back there. It started kind of when I was going through my mother had passed away and other friends, and I needed to do some kind of healing myself. And I found out it helped everybody. So all kinds of people would come to my bank in Gilbert, Iowa. And before I could feed them, they had to paint me a little picture on the placemat. And that kind of got us started, and they started talking. And then we'd work on the things that they needed to work on. You know, I'm not a counselor or anything, but as people paint, they start talking. So anyway, that was, uh, uh, I've done quite a few retreats with painting.
Okay. So this left bank, I mean, this tomato bisque soup club is kind of how you started
Yes.
with connecting with folks. And
Uh-huh.
you
And
mentioned,
the
go ahead.
hospice, some of the hospice people, I had people come out and they'd actually have to take a nap on my, because, they could only last so long, and because they were in chemo and so on. Um, so, yeah. So you
You
can read
mentioned your
about this.
you mentioned your mom.
Yeah. She really got me started. When you're in a hospital room and you don't want to watch TV, I really wanted to go deeper with her. And she really went right with me. Uh, she's painting here with her hands because the family would come in and paint with her, and everybody had a paintbrush, but she was determined. She wanted to paint too. So what was so beautiful about her is, we paint portals of hope. We called some of her paintings. This one on the right here was about going into the light. So, she was seeing things, and we were painting what she saw, and I was just in awe. I mean, I didn't know what we were doing, but I just went with her. So that's part of all this, is listening and not judging, just being there. And it was a beautiful experience. And then I started doing that with other families, people, and a lot of their paintings went on the covers of their celebration of life covers. I learned a lot of things that nobody else knew. There was, yeah, which was, I don't know. Of course, you never would divulge anything that you were told.
I think you're the first person I've heard of who's actually used watercolor painting in a hospital room with
Hmm.
somebody who was approaching the end of their life as a way to kind
Yeah.
of connect the whole family right there in the
Hmm.
room with the person who's facing their big transition. That's neat. And it
And
gives
it's
me an
quiet,
idea of how to connect.
and you can just bring a few. I had little praying paints, so it's very unobtrusive. Um, and it might only last 15 minutes, but they were priceless, and the families just loved the painting.
Yes. I'm glad you have a picture of your mom on your website. That's cool. All right, so
Yeah.
now I'm going to go back to your website and talk a little bit about this creating for a
Mhm.
cause.
Okay, I sure will. So I got a little tired of just painting pretty pictures. So uh, right, as you can see, creating card. This is ALS cards, um, and I have a family member that has ALS, so it's real meaningful to me. And one way to maybe kind of heal myself was to paint what she could do and what others could do. And so if you go to the note cards, but they have create cards. There we Okay. Oh, here I am at, okay, this, I wonder if it's going to show them all. I'm not sure. Yep, keep going. There we go. And so we have a catalog sheet. On the left, she's sitting out in her little wheelchair watching the deer.
Oh,
Nature is a
yeah.
big healer kind of thing, for people that, well, for me, when I meditate and so on. Um, and then here again, they could go to the farmer's market. Yeah, on the right, the top right there. Her sister took her to the farmer's market. You can do a lot in a wheelchair. You just need to be creative and think about the things you can do. Here on the far right, anyway, they're traveling, they're going out to visit people. I learned a lot about handicapped accessibility. Um, so,
So these are
you know,
cards that you've
yes,
painted and the proceeds go to the ALS
yes.
Association?
Hmm.
And
And
so
their
that's,
walk is
wow,
coming right up. So,
okay. That's another
but I
way to
have,
support them. Yeah.
uh-huh. But people,
So,
there's some of the pictures they're going to work. They're still working. Uh, anyway, you just kind of delve into the life of what someone can do. There you go. Um, okay, this middle one here, each day is another day to love life, family, and friends while doing daily chores. That might be unloading the dishwasher, hanging out with your daughter, um, lots of things. And then, okay, yeah, if you scroll down, my family had these tandem bikes, which was just great. And they lived near a lake, so they could go out and her husband could drive her, ride her around. And they love that at sunset. Um, and then here we have some people at work, and just as smart as a whip. He's got his computer up there. Uh, so that's kind of cool. Anyway, just showing what the hope that, and you can do what you can. And each day is just like what we're trying to do with this virus. It's a new beginning and a chance to do what you can.
All right, so you did that work with the ALS, the
Uh-huh.
art with the ALS, developing a series of greeting cards that just showed people with ALS in everyday life and
Right.
participating in life. Now, I see one here that says Lila May's
House.
What is that all about?
Oh, that's my other love. I'm a Franciscan associate, and we do a lot with human trafficking. They helping these women recover, and those there again. I made cards, and I painted. You want to show the cards or?
Yeah. Okay, let's see.
There you go. You
Note
bet.
cards. Okay, and then let me. I'll see if I can zoom in a little here, and we can look at these note cards. Well, they're not quite that easy to see here, but I'm going to scroll down your website, and I think they might be Tentacle of Creation. Let's see. Is that? Oh, that's much better and easier to see. So now what are we looking at, Joe?
So you're looking, this was their Tentacle of Creation Center at the Mother House in Dubuque, Iowa, the Franciscan Mother House. And this is how I work in plastic. So this is a very large sheet of Lexan, and you can see it's lit behind, so it glows, and which is very lovely. And
that's plastic?
Yeah. And they're gonna maybe put it up on their new building, but I'm not sure. But right now it's on this easel with a big light behind it because it just glows, and that's very Franciscan.
And that's St. Francis of Assisi on the right?
Okay. On the right, and there's Claire on the left, and they're dancing. And so all the cards talk about the flapping fish. It talks about the sister moon and brother sun and the dove. So each card is a candle, pretty much. And that was to celebrate the Tentacle of Creation. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
let's see what this one is. Oh, yeah. So on your website, you have some more information. And then you have
yes, I do.
Cards for contemplation.
And they're $30. And these were our first packets. And they got they didn't work too well. So we had to, everything I make an envelope for so that it looks, people pick it up, and it's interesting. So then I took the Pansakula, which is St. Francis's house. And I think I got a copy of one of those around here. And you open it up, the doors, and there's the cards. Oh, there's a Pansakula. Yeah.
All right. So what does that mean, Pansakula?
That's where Francis. That's where he started his home. I mean, that they lived there. He preached there. He invited others in.
Okay.
So this is really talking about St. Francis, and he's just. It was amazing for me. I was very excited.
All right. And so the Lila Mae's house is in Sioux City,
Mhm.
and what's their
It's a
mission?
recovery house, and it's got 7 beds. It's in a kind of secret place, obviously, um, and it's for women that are recovering from human trafficking. And it takes quite a few social workers, counselors, educators, because some of these gals have not even maybe got their GED. There's probably a substance abuse component to that. And they hopefully will be there for 2 years. And so they really have time to recover. In fact, I was hoping that they would take over my card business and my scarf business and start a little cottage industry. That's the hope, that they might be able to do that someday. Yeah. So those cards are about abundant homes. If you click on note cards, there you go. Uh, so I started painting all these houses on the right there. Um,
All right. I'm seeing if there's oh, see, I'm looking to see if I can find the
Bigger.
pictures of the houses. Oh, I think this helps a little bit. Let's see.
Yeah, it does. So
Okay.
there's a house, and this is Nikkis House. And in the right-hand corner, there's a little person gardening. Just think, to be
Oh,
free and to be able to garden, uh, these are the things that could happen. So, and this is a house in Iowa City, but I kind of made it up and put my little survivor. So there's a survivor on each card, getting to do be free and have a life. And then I took those same images and made things into scarves, and you can see those pretty
oh,
soon.
let's look at the scarves too.
Yeah,
You have a lot of ideas. I love
I
it.
do.
Let me
I am
see.
full of ideas. I just have to write them down, and eventually I get to them.
All right, so I'm on the part that talks about the scarves. Uh,
No, you're not. You're on chemical creation. Okay, keep going, and then just keep going down, and I think you'll come up on Lila Mae's house. We called it Shop to Shelter, Lila Mae. Oh, here I am painting the pouches. Because we made almost $10,000. It just, I would go out and people wanted to get involved with this, and they bought the cards. The cards are $30 for 9 cards, which is very reasonable. And then the scarves are 40,
let's
and
see if we can.
and you can order them on my website. Um, and I also have bags. Here's some. This is this is called backyard chickens, and if you look in the lower right, there's a woman feeding chickens. It's just think, to be free outside doing something on with nature.
So these are still all fundraising for the Lila Mae
Yes,
Recovery House in Sioux City.
right.
Oh, that is beautiful how you, and then
Yeah,
in every one of the images, you have a woman who's recovering.
yes.
Hmm.
And so when people use them, they can say, "Oh, this is the survivor, and she's
Uh,
getting to do this." So see, all of a sudden, I've tried to help them become part of the process of recovery
yeah.
and to learn what it's like to to be free and get to do things.
Um, so I like, what you're talking about is you're doing the art and then you're making cards and scarves and bags
Hmm.
out of the art and selling those, and the profits are going to Lila Mays. And then people will see those scarves or see the cards or see the bags and ask about it. And so then more people are included in
Yes.
the process of helping women recover from human trafficking. That's beautiful. That's
And then
wonderful.
I have the cards at Iowa Artisan Gallery, some other galleries, because they want to be part of it too.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
So you've got the cards for Lila Mae's house, and you've got the cards for the ALS Society to help raise funds for them.
Hmm.
Going back to Lila Mae's house for just one more minute, you mentioned that part of your vision is that maybe the women who are recovering there, some of them might get interested in painting them doing their own painting, and then that would turn into a cottage industry that could help them make some money.
Right. Right.
And also give them some skills and expressing themselves and just creating, because creating helps us.
It does. And they know the story better than anybody. I can't wait to sit down and say, were you thinking you could be a gardener? Were you thinking you could go to the theater? I have a card with that. I said, did you ever think it'd be fun to sit down with them? But I can't do that right now and talk
As
to
a
them.
COVID, yeah.
Yeah. So
Now, I noticed on your website also that you have something called Lucky's Foot, or
Lucky's feet.
Lucky's Feet. Okay, let me
Yes.
go back to your website and we'll look at that, and you tell me.
I don't think that's on there yet, though.
Oh, all right. Well, then you just talk with us a little bit about Lucky's
Sure.
Feet, please.
I might even just put this aside for a minute and open up the booklet on it.
Okay, sure.
What it is, it's Tom Cook and Joan Cook. Of course, they're my friends, and Joan's in my watercolor class. And Tom took a chance. Like, he's a doctor, and he had not written before, but he wanted to he has a lot of compassion, all these doctors do, for the clubfoot, because it's so damaging. It's just so hard on these children. So he wrote a children's book here, and it isn't published yet. We're still trying to, that's another item. But this is Lucky, and this is his village, and we're going to I can send you the PDF for this. You can see the images. Anyway, here is his feet as a baby. And of course, in a lot of cultures, when you have clubfoot, you're kind of sent away or put aside because you can't carry water. You can't work in a garden and so on. So I fell in love with this grandmother. Here she is. Here she is. And she said, oh, I'll take him. Because see, grandmothers see ahead. They see the future. They're pretty smart that way. Anyway, he grew up, he couldn't walk, and she tried to help him. So till he was 8, he crawled everywhere and with the chickens. And he talked to the chickens a lot because they were at his level. His brothers and sisters would come and bring him books and things to help him with school. But of course, he longed to be playing outside, kicking the ball like any other child. Can you imagine at 8, you couldn't do anything? Along came a couple of doctors, and they talked to Grandma, and they said, oh, we have this Ponseti method of cast. And so off he goes, and he's in this car, and he's waving because he's never been in a car. So, and he goes to the hospital, and they try to get him to walk, and he can hardly walk. One foot's going back, and one foot's going sideways. And here's his feet, which are really, and this is probably going to be the envelope for the new cards.
Oh, you're going to make an envelope for cards too? Great.
Yes, we're going to make cards and sell them. And a lot of people want prints of these. And then here's the doctors talking to him, and here he is getting his first cast. And basically, it's just like we do a cast, but he had to go through it 5 times. And each time, the foot would just start to get turned around and so on. And like any child, his brothers and sisters came over and wrote all over his cast. And you can really see it's just like any child. And taking them off and putting them on was not easy because they'd use these big, scary scissors kind of thing. And here's what the cast. So the process is all documented in here. And then the joy of all of a sudden his feet were straightened up and he could stand. That was really quite a moment.
So you're doing the illustrations for the book,
yes.
And the book talks about the Ponseti method of helping children with club feet. And without the Ponseti method, these children would be not able to
I mean, surgery.
participate fully in their society unless they had surgery, and surgery is expensive. It's not
Right.
always available, and it's risky. So University of
Exactly.
Iowa professor Dr. Ponsetti came up with this method of putting on casts that
Mhm.
would slowly straighten the bones, and then they take one cast off and put another cast on, and over time the bones would straighten. And do you go into that in the book? I mean, does it actually
Yes,
show
it's
that
very
the
much documented,
okay.
the process and the doctors, and I painted all of those in here. Yeah,
Oh,
you
that's
know,
exciting.
and the whole thing is that a child could read this and know how what's going to happen to them,
Oh
possibly.
yeah.
And uh, then at the end, I have his father um, teaching him how to garden. So it's redeeming, and I think
Yeah.
we need that. And then here he is kicking a ball, and the chicken is kicking a ball.
That
So
chicken.
I know. Well, I think for kids, they would love that. And they would pick out what the chicken's doing. The chickens are in all the paintings somewhere doing something are
Yeah.
involved.
Well, I thank you for telling us a little bit about the projects you were working on before the pandemic. And then the pandemic hit. And I know that you mentioned you're still doing the ALS cards, the Lila Mays house. You're still working on the illustrations for Tom Cook's children's book about Lucky and children born with club feet. But you're teaching. What have you been doing with your teaching? Because before the pandemic, you were meeting students on location and you would all get together in a big room and you would paint. Then what happened with the pandemic?
Well, I just thought, okay, I can't handle not seeing my people. so, uh, and I'm an extrovert, so I thought I've got to learn how to communicate in new ways. And of course, grandchildren, even Tom helped me do Zoom because we needed to communicate about the book. And so a lot of stop and starts and pushing the wrong button. But now we have time to push the wrong button
Yeah.
and start over. And so I was determined. The only way, this is a new normal. And if I want to be part of society, I've got to find other ways. And at this time, um, and we can't, I used to go on location and paint with my people, but I can't do that now. We could maybe stay 6 feet apart and go to somewhere, but it's just risky. So see, that's what I meant about the liminal time we're going through. You just kind of do what you can for today, stay in your moment. And the painting, I think, has helped people do that. So what I do then is I send them, um, if you want to take a class, you can call me up or go on my website, and I'll send you a sketch of what I'm going to do. And this is that porch scene that I'm painting.
Oh,
And so they kind of can paint along with me, or they can some people might be knitting for all I know, because they just want to see each other and see what's going on, you know. And then I send them, once you sign up on my website, it's $10 for 2 hours. And that's another thing. I still need to make a little income because my galleries are closed, you know. Um, so um, so anyway, then you send me an email, and I have PayPal now, and you can and I'll send you the link, and then I send you pictures with my little camera. I've learned how to use my little camera on my phone, and I send you a sketch, and then a lot of times we have warm-ups, and I'll send you a copy of that. So when we get together, you'll have this drawn on a piece of paper, and you can work along with me. Really, all I teach is technique. But with the COVID, it's just, you got to have a story, you know, and this story is in this old neighborhood here, and these people are coming to be on the porch 6 feet away. And this one is that we did. I taught them first. I taught them how to do lily pads, and it was kind of a step by step. But look at these chairs. These chairs facing this way. This one's going this way. This one's coming this way. It's like somebody was here, and now they're gone. You know, and in this beautiful setting. And so it's. I think we need to record how we're feeling, the isolation, and so on. And when you record it, you own the pain, and then you move along, you know. And then I did some with. This is Joan's backyard. This orange stuff is something called mascot. So she has quite a garden, and so we're doing mascot. It's just a material that you put on, and then you can rub it off. But meanwhile, you can get free behind here. And there's a little
protects that space so it doesn't get paint
protects
on it.
that, keeps it white until you decide to draw it. So then I have this one. I have chairs again, and there's a mask on each chair, and those chairs are 6 feet apart. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. But in this, they live in a beautiful park. And that's the whole crazy thing. I think so many people are out walking and biking and being in beautiful places because it lifts them, you know?
Yeah. So your class is meeting on Zoom. Everybody gets together on Zoom, and then you demonstrate the painting, and then they can paint along, or they can do whatever they want to do, but you can all talk with each other.
That's right. They can. That got a little hard sometimes because some people really wanted a lesson. So I learned how to mute them. So I could do the lesson and then, of course, open it up and let people talk, because that's the whole point of what we're doing here. So at the Bearskin Gallery in Davenport, they asked me to teach on Zoom. Oh. And so there again, I have this wonderful, and this one lady is from Panama right here. And I sent them my painting lately. I can't show you the original, but I gave it to her. And then these are the other students that were in the class. And look at this little painting, is very colorful. And I told her that's fine because you're from Panama. So your colors are yours. Yeah.
So this was the family that was missing seeing their family house?
Yes. So they sent me a picture of their family house. Because, you know, I always say to them, what would you like to paint today? What would you like to work on? And so that, you know, you need to paint a story, first of all. That's real important. And it has to have some meaning, or why do it, you know? So here's their house in Panama. And now they've sent me 44 pictures of what they're growing around their house. I don't know if they want me to paint them or what, but they got to tell me all about why these doors are open, because they don't have air conditioning. Just many stories went on while we're painting. So what a blessing for me and what I could learn, you know. So that was very unexpected. So then I sent them this sketch again. Here's the house. I kind of blew it up, and I put them in it, and they're gardening down here. And so see, that's part of the story. You always have to have a story, or it's just a pretty painting, you know.
So did the whole class paint their house?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, because they got into it with them. You know what I mean? They just they really got into it with them. Yeah. So I think I'm connected to those people for a while. Yeah. They're going back. The grandmother is going here. This is a grandmother story. The grandmother's going back to Panama. They've got a kind of a trike set up. and she's going to sell things on her tricycle. And so here she is. And she was telling me all the stuff she's going to make and right around her little community selling, because that's how she's going to get bread and, you know, her groceries.
Yeah.
Our grandmother's brilliant, I tell you.
Yes, they are.
They are. Yeah.
Well, Joe, you have found a wonderful way to stay connected and stay creative and to kind of paint your way out of isolation despite being in an apartment. You're not out there doing those big installations anymore because of COVID,
Mm-hmm.
but you're successfully bringing people together
Mm-hmm.
through your love of art and your art of teaching. Because
Yes.
I know that you've been instrumental in encouraging a lot of people to pick up a paintbrush, maybe for the first time in their life, and just begin to create.
Right. And that's kind of what I was saying. You need to, right now we need to take the chance. We've got time. You can something, learn it. You can, you know, you can, but yeah, because it lifts your spirits. Otherwise, you just stay inside and ruminate about all the stuff you're missing, you know. And yeah, I've learned to FaceTime my grandchildren. We got that going. We Zoom too as a family. We play games with Zoom. I'm doing the human trafficking meetings. I do on Zoom.
Oh, wow.
Everything's on Zoom now, so you can keep your causes or your interests back. You just got to learn how to turn on the computer.
Which you have learned to do, and you've learned how to incorporate a whole lot of technology into your business and your volunteering.
Yes,
It's really exciting.
and you know you'll find people can help you because they want you to learn too. So you senior center used to have a whole computer class for us, but of course we can't go there. But find a grandchild that would straighten you out pretty fast. And you trial by error. Yeah, just learning where to put my phone so you can watch what I'm doing, getting the lighting right. I've got a real studio going here.
Yeah, and we can see that you're continuing to paint even as we have this conversation, which is
Yeah.
so you figured out how to put up your phone so your phone can be taking an image of you painting, and then you're using your computer to speak with me and speak with your students when you hold your class. That's cool.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
It
Joe
sure is.
Myers, thank you, Myers Walker. Thank you for your
Yeah.
time, and thank you for telling us about all the exciting things you're doing and the ways you're helping not-for-profit organizations continue to serve their clients. And thank you also for encouraging us all to learn more, to keep growing, keep teaching, and keep learning. And I hope you continue making your artwork because it's beautiful. And I have with me here one of your scarves, which I
Sure.
love.
Yes.
So
The flapping fish.
the
Yeah.
swimming fish, and I'm a Pisces. So when I saw this scarf, I
Oh,
thought, oh, Joe's scarf with the fish
sure.
for me. So thank you very much. And
Oh,
we'll check out your website and keep up with you. And I see you have a blog too. So anybody who wants to keep up with Joe Myers Walker, please sign up for her blog. That's it for now. Thank you.